I'm standing here in front of the Asian Civilizations Museum. Built in 1827, it used to house the old British government offices. It also used to be known as the former Empress Place building. Why, you may ask? It used to house the old Singapore government administrative offices all the way to 1980s, and it was also home to the old Singapore Immigrations Department. In fact, this entire area, including the iconic Singapore River, is steeped in Singapore's history, culture and heritage. It should be no surprise why the Singapore Heritage Festival is coming to the Asian Civilizations Museum and the Singapore River this year. We always speak about going back to our roots, and this year the festival does exactly that. Let me give you some tidbits on some interesting events that once took place right here at the Singapore River. Did you know the Singapore River is 3 kilometers long, starting near Kim Seng Bridge, before trailing into the larger Marina Bay Basin. It was right along these riverbanks that Sir Stamford Raffles landed and founded modern Singapore in 1819. Next, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the legend of Badang and the Singapore Stone. As the story goes, there was once a huge boulder measuring 3 meters by 3 meters sitting at the mouth of Singapore River, around where the present Fullerton Hotel is. Today, a fragment of the Singapore Stone survives at the National Museum of Singapore. Fast forward to the 70s, this story many Singaporeans today would still remember. Back then, Singapore River was not what it is today. It was so badly polluted and carried a strong stench, so much so that the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew declared the cleanup of Singapore River as a national priority. My last history fact revolves around Singaporeans' favourite topic, food. Remember the Satay Club and the Empress Place Food Centre? Well, I do. In fact, I have fond memories of visiting the old Empress Place Museum here with my parents and chomping down on satay as a little boy. I have very fond memories of the Singapore River. My dad would tell me stories of how he as a kid would jump into Singapore River to tuck boats into shore just to earn some pocket money. This Singapore Heritage Festival, the museum presents a full suite of programming about food stories and relationships built around food. Programming would include exhibitions, movie screenings, gallery tours that would take place at this part of Singapore River. We will also have a pop-up hawker centre that will be here and an installation called I Was Here that reminds all of us about the Empress Place Food Centre that used to be in this part of the Singapore River. There will also be a special exhibition titled Museum of Eating, which gets us thinking about the very act of eating. Eating is something universal, but the way we eat is highly personal and cultural. Come find out about the unique eating habits, quirks and practices of Singaporeans where innovations in design affect the wares and vessels we use in food. So what are you waiting for? Join us at the Asian Civilizations Museum and the Singapore River and end off the Singapore Heritage Festival 2017 on a memorable and delicious note.